Hello and welcome to my channel. My name's Paul Simmons. I'm a hair, beauty, skin photographer. Today I'm going to show you something in a program called Evoto. Okay, so first of all, before we go any further, I'm going to give you a disclaimer. Hair and beauty photographers do not use programs like this yet. It's essentially an AI program and we don't use it for doing our commercial retouches. And that's kind of important to remember because it won't cure every problem you've got. But it's a little bit of fun. So what I'm going to do with today is I've got the amazing Pereira. She's an amazing model. As you can see, her skin is already perfect. It's already absolutely gorgeous. Yep, she's got some blemishes like everyone else. But her eyebrows, her eyes are gorgeous. The actual shape of her face is incredible. Um, and she's probably one of the most used hair and skin models in the UK. She's been in every hair magazine. She's been on, as far as I can remember back she's been in every hair awards, and she's an incredible model. But today, for a little bit of fun, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it, see how long, I'm going to set a timer and see how long it takes me to retouch this picture in Evoto. Things that I don't want to lose and problems. For starters, the things that I do want to get rid of, I want to make her neck slightly slimmer and her shoulders a little bit lower. I want to make her lips look a little bit creamier and a bit smoother, a little bit dry. In Photoshop, I would work much more on the hair than I'm going to do, but I'm not going to show you how to do a hair shot. I'm going to show you how to do the quickest retouch that you could possibly do. When would I use this? I would probably use it if I wanted to send a quick sample to a model or to a client before I actually did a real retouch. Um, would I ever use it in a real job? Oh, the answer's going to be no. I really wouldn't. I really wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. So let's take a little look. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set a timer to see how long it takes me starting now. Okay, so really simply, the simplest way to do it is to go to one of these presets that run up along the left hand side, click on that, and that gives you everything that you want to know. And that's taken me 14 seconds. So already you can see that's made quite a big difference. As you can see at the back there's all these little hairs. So let's get rid of those. Choose a background. Choose something that looks really similar to what you've already used. And if you do want a different color background, I would highly recommend actually shoot it with a different background. So we'll put that similar grey. As you can see there, it's now going to get rid of a lot of the mess around the edge. If you look at that again, let's put it back on. If you look around the edge there and this part here, what we don't want to do is make it completely so that it disappears everything. So that looks pretty good. Now let's get back into the skin retouching. This red down the side there, that is purely and simply part of a tattoo that Pereira's got. So what do we want to do? We want to get rid of some of the body blemishes, remove some of the face shine. You can see it working its little legs off down there. We want to take away some of the colour so that it that is the colour that Evoto has chosen for it. Should we change it? That looks a little bit so as it's got some reds. Let's stick with a natural colour. Let's press 0 and control back to get there. Unify body complexion. Body skin smoothing. Right now that's set up pretty high, and I can show you something now. That to me looks pretty dreadful. You can't see anything. If I move that off, you can see she's got some kind of moles and some imperfections on her body. One of the things when you're doing a hair shoot, you'll encounter problems like these hairs. I could take them off just really simply by just using but I would do that in Photoshop. That's not the example today. Let's get back to where we was, because we're wasting time and we're already up to 2 minutes and 31 seconds. Let's get to some, um, we've got some face acne, let's freckles, body blemishes, let's move that down a little bit. Remove face shine, move that down a little bit. You can see, because I've moved the body blemishes down, you've got some of the marks coming back in, which is exactly what we want. Personally, I would crop it a little bit as well to get rid of that red on the right there. And then what I would do is I would work my way all the way to the bottom, and I would do a full body reshape. This is really simple. If I take this slider down, you'll notice that Pereira's neck gets longer and her shoulders get longer. So remember, this isn't a portrait. We're not trying to do a portrait. We all know she looked amazing as she did before. It's not meant to be a portrait. We can actually slim that neck down even more if we wanted to. This is not meant to be a portrait. So we could actually go to facial reshape and facial expressions, but you know what? Why would you reshape her face? I've given the neck some elongation purely and simply to actually show off the face. And I know some of you won't like it, and to be honest with you, I couldn't give a monkey. So let's have a little look what else we can do. Let's get rid of some of these. Let's get rid of some of these. Okay, so we've got some things here that we really need to take a look at. One of the first things we need to look at is the lips. So we can actually choose a preset here, but I hate doing that. It gives you way too much. You see, it completely obliterates everything. I mean, nude's not bad. Nude's not bad. It gives you a bit more of a. But me personally, Pereira did her own makeup on the day. Her face looks incredible anyway. This is one of the things that you can do if your model has got freckles. You need to leave them alone and bring them back in. If she hasn't, you could use one of these, which yet again I don't really think they look very nice, but there you go. What I would say, if you do use the freckles, make sure you alter the amount slider so as it just really barely brings them in. Because if you put them too much, they overdo it. So, okay, so let's get back to where we was. Lipstick. Let's give her a little bit of a bit more of a lippy glow to it. That's kind of where we were. Let's choose a gloss. As you can see, that's put a bit more of a shine. And eyelashes, let's give her some more. She's got great eyelashes anyway. What I've noticed about Evoto is it starts at 01 and it goes right up to 10. 10 is absolutely over exaggerated and overdone. 1 is possibly, if you've got like someone that's hardly got any eyelashes, it's well worth doing. But as you can see, Pereira's eyelashes are pretty good already. So I think two's more than enough. Eyebrows. Great eyebrows, as you can see, slightly gappy. So let's take a little look which one we could use. That's not bad. That's not bad. That's a little bit thicker. That's quite nice if you look compared to what I think is the arch needs to be a little bit higher. Okay, so I quite like all of these, but so which one shall we settle on? Okay, so I think that it's that one there, but I'm not particularly convinced that if you look at it, it drops it down slightly on the corner there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to facial reshape, and I'm going to make the eyebrows have a bit more height. Let's take a look again. Yeah, I'm much happier with that. I actually do really like to put a bit more of an arch. It gives you that kind of, do you know what? I'm not sure now that I've done that, that one works particularly well with that. Yeah, that's more like it, isn't it? Yeah, that's more like it. It's just, as you can see, it's just thickened it out. That one there, if you look at the edges there, that gives it a bit more of a point. We don't want that at all. So she's got great eyebrows. So let's settle with number 2. Yeah, it's not far away from what she'd already got. And I think, you know what? I think that's probably almost done. Let me show you quickly what you can do with this new Evoto. There's something quite clever you can do. I want you to imagine that you were shooting inside and you hadn't got, as you can see on her eyes, as they were shot, they look great anyway. The reflection was great. The striations in her eyes were great. But what you could do if you wanted to, you could actually put more reflections into her eyes if you felt like you needed to do that. One of the ones that people like to do is they like to get to be able to see a board at the bottom. You know, sometimes I use a light actually, but that looks now like we've got 2 lights there. So we don't need any of those because it was perfect as it was. So anyway, we're up to, let's see how far the timer is. We are up to 9 minutes and 21 seconds. And I think that's done. And we could have probably done it in about 6 minutes if I wasn't waffling on and talking rubbish. So what would I do from this? Let's export it first to see what we get. What would I do if I was in Photoshop? Well, the first obvious thing I would do if I was in Photoshop, I would unify the skin colours, which we can do in Evoto, but I don't think it works so well. The next thing that I would do would be to take all of the, as you can see with this hair colour that Pereira has obviously done herself, it's got some blue tones through this the left hand side of her hair, and then as the roots it's got a little bit of brassiness, and what I would do is I would take those out completely. So I've exported the file. When we go into the exports we can see where it will be. Is it there? And there it is. And what would I do from there? It's really simple. I would open it up in Photoshop. This is the beta version. If you haven't tried it yet, it's well worth using the beta version. You have to be careful, but obviously one of the things is that we need to remember that this is not under any circumstances it's not a portrait at all. Let's take a look at this. Let's go into image adjustments, hue saturation. Let's go to yellows. And as you can see, I've actually taken that so as it looks, this part of her hair was quite grey, and I've taken that so that it actually emulates that part of her hair. As a matter of fact, let's just take a little look at that. Yeah, I quite like that. And what I can do is I can actually go into sponge tool, make it much bigger, and I can actually, you can see how often I use it. It's already in desaturate because I want to make that quite grey. Okay, so I've made a lovely blonde hair grey. Now what I want to do is I'm going to show you something that I can do this really, really easy, but there's another program that I can use to do this. Let's go into Luminaire Neo. No, no, let's not. Let's not. Let's cancel that down. Just wait for that to boot up and then I'll cancel it. Okay, let's cancel that down. Let's go to retouch me. We can use skin tones. Let's use a dodge and burn app. I can't stress enough that these programs are not generally what you'd use. Um, you'd use just to retouching something like this could take you 2 hours, and it should take you 2 hours. So let's take a little look what we've got there. A dodge and burn. That's way too much now, isn't it? Crikey. Do you know this is a great example of why I wouldn't use. I mean, that looks so false now. It looks unbelievable, doesn't it? So I'm going to cancel that. You cannot beat old-fashioned, simple techniques. If you look at her face, she's too red on her nose, and she's too red on her cheeks. So let's see if that makes a difference. Yeah, that's not bad at all. Maybe even a bit more, possibly. It's given me a bit more of a magenta feel to it now, which I'm really not sure that I like that either. So, we've got this retouch for me skin tone application, which I also think is blooming dreadful. Let's just go back. It's really simple adjustment that we can do. We can also, there's lots of different ways of doing this, we could let's and this is a really simple one that I like to do. I've just done it with the yellows. Let's get some of the reds out of this. We don't want to take it too far because then it starts to look like a black and white. But you can see that me personally, I kind of prefer, because we've made the hair from blonde to grey, so I actually prefer that, to be truthful. What can I do to get things to look a little bit? The lips were quite nice and red, so let's get back to that. Sponge, saturate, zoom in so that we don't. I mean, there's lots of ways of doing it, isn't there? Let's get rid of that. So let's just go around this nice and gently. Oh, that's horrific. It's way too much. The flow is right the way up there. So let's drop it down to 14%. Crikey, we don't want it to look like a clown, do we? That's much better. So, okay, so this is an image that I really like now. I'm going to save that next to that one. Do you know what? Let's just do it as a. Now I know for a fact that some of you are going to absolutely hate this. But I'm looking to get pictures into awards. And so if you look at the hair there, that is horrible. So that's the image that we've been working on. And I'll tell you what we'll do. It's 0113. So what we'll do is we'll take a little example of 0113. There's my wife, bless her. Zero one. Oh crikey, my eyes have gone. 0113. So what we'll do is we'll copy that one and we'll put it into there. Let's replace the file in the destination. Okay, so now if we delete that one, we can actually see what we started off with. Hang on 2 seconds. Okay, so that's where we started off. That's after Evoto. Skin looks a little bit magenta. Hair looks like a real horrible blonde colour. You know what? We could actually make it a really nice blonde colour or any colour we want. But I kind of wanted to do. Originally, Pereira did a hair with a silver toner through it, and it made it quite grey. But of course, silver toners always wash out, and that's what we kind of ended up with almost. So, what do you think? I'd love to know your thoughts below. What do you think? But I kind of like the fact that it's all pared down. It's almost grey. Anyway, that's enough of me talking about me. What do you think of me? So thanks for joining. Please subscribe, and if you like what you see, let me know. If you don't like what you see, keep some of your horrible comments to yourselves. But I really wanted to show you something. Yet again, right at the end, I'm going to use a disclaimer. Please understand one thing. Professional hair photographers and skin photographers do not use programs as yet like Evoto. And I'm certainly not a brilliant skin toucher or hair retoucher. So it's just something if you want to do really quickly, get yourself out of a bit of a tight spot. So hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts.